Okay, fantastic. Welcome, everybody. This is a live session with Jim Green, uh, our chairman of the Metavisionaries, and really looking forward to introducing our partners, my co founder, Ihab, and our new and newly appointed president and co founder who's joining, Ahmed Al Fandi. We also have our creative director and partner from the beginning, Aisha. And of course, we have Dana joining us from the Exploration Company, where we're going to be announcing a new uh, partnership. So before we get into this, let's quickly welcome everybody. And I just want to make sure that you can all see us and watch us. Osman, if you can just give me a heads up that all is good. Yep, that seems all is good. Okay. And if you're on LinkedIn, if you have any issues in terms of being able to listen to us, please just let us know. So I'm just going to mute everybody for a second so that it's fantastic. Okay. All right. We're here to go. So, welcome. It's coming to the end of 2023, and we're very, very excited as the Meta Visionaries to kind of update you on some of the things we've been doing this year and what we're going to be doing over 2024. Now, if you watch Jim's post, hi, Dr. Jamil. Pleasure to have you. If you've watched Jim's post on some of the things me and Jim have been working on in terms of custom GPTs. We're very excited to share some of that knowledge with our team who's here, as well as those of you who are going to be joining us from the live session. So, with that, first of all, I'm going to introduce Dana and Jim. I'd love for you to take over because we are doing our first ever executive course in Jeddah, January 24th from 7th to the 11th, and it's going to be an executive space course looking at health applications on space and Earth. And part of this program, we're going to have a 2 day workshop, which is how to design payloads. And those who are participating in this session will um, get to present their ideas, and the winning teams will get entered into a second draw with the Exploration Company, where there's an exciting 6 week internship program for the top two best teams to be able to take part of. So, with that, I'm going to pass it to you, Jim,
All right.
and welcome.
Welcome. Yes, thank you so very much. What an exciting time we've had this year, 2023, and we're looking forward to all the new activities building on what we've done this year. But I'd like to take the opportunity to talk to Donna Baka, and Donna is in the exploration company. She's the chief commercial officer. She's no, we can't see her image because she's in a remote location. So, Donna, tell us, where are you, and what's happening in your life, in your world today?
I'm on the moon. No, I'm just joking. I am in the mountains in the UAE, but I'm really happy to be able to still join you guys today and look forward to meeting all of you throughout the next few weeks. And I hope you guys can hear me well because I am in a remote location. So I hope that this is clear. I'll introduce myself. I'm Dana Baki, as Jim mentioned, and I'm from the Exploration Company. We build space capsules and lunar landers and are based out of Munich and Bordeaux in France. And I am based in the UAE actually and do quite a bit of work in the region. So, we view ourselves as very much a global endeavor. And we're really excited to be partnering with Metavisionaries for this and for the Jeddah practicum or internship, whatever we want to call it. But we think this is a really special opportunity for those that are selected. The intention behind it is to give. I mean, I know over the 2 days of the work that we're going to be doing together, people are going to be working on their payloads, their ideas, and really thinking through how to bring them to life. And so, what we're hoping to do is throughout the 2 days to select the top four that will then apply to be a part of the practicum, and then choose the top two from there to enter into the 6 week program where we'll basically be helping you continue fine tuning your idea and really bringing it to life to enable you to get the right funding, to put the right business proposal together, to really think through the design of the experiment, how you would qualify it, etc. So we have extensive, within the whole team, not just us, within the whole team, we have extensive experience on how to get these payloads qualified, designed, and up into space. And so we really look forward to working with you all on getting you up there. So that's that's what I'm here for, and I look forward to meeting you all.
To me, that is so exciting. The concept of being able to use your imagination, create an important experiment, develop that through a variety of processes that enable it to be able to be launched into space. What a golden opportunity.
We think so too.
I can't be excited enough about it. I can't wait. Get ready. Let's get ready and get going.
So just to add on that, because I want to let Donna actually have a holiday. By the way, I want to say she's been absolutely gracious. It was a typical Wasim last minute. Donna, I really need you to join. And she's like, hey, I'm in the mountains, but don't worry, I'm going to turn up. We're really looking forward to working with yourselves. I know myself and Hilda, when we met you, we were super excited. So just to kind of touch on this segment, I mean, during this course, you're going to get to come in. We're going to be using the Metaverse, part of the design program. This is a typical cube that we previously used, but we're really looking forward to what kind of designs we can do with the exploration company and Dana, and how we can get those across. And of course, once you've designed what you want to put into practice, this is an example of what we've previously done.
To the International Space Station. Today, I have the privilege.
This is an experiment we did just over last year with Professor Joseph Borg, Space Summit, Ice Cubes, and Dr. Bada Shira. So it shows how you can go from the virtual to actually putting it into the practical, and how you can use these new technologies in these processes. So for those of you who are interested, feel free to reach out. But we're really, really looking forward to growing this, not just in Jeddah in January, but also will be coming to the UAE. We have courses that will be happening in the UK and other places around the world. So with that, Donna, thank you so much. I know you've got a holiday to get back to in the lovely mountains, and I really appreciate you joining.
Anytime. Thank you guys so much. And we'll all be talking in the next couple of weeks.
Definitely. Have a wonderful time in the mountains. Takes loads of pictures. Send them to us, and we'll see. We wish we were there.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you. So I see a few of you are there. Alvaro, thank you so much. Pleasure to have you, Pratik. But we're going to now quickly move on to introducing Ahmed, who has become and joined us as the president. But I want to start with Ihab. We started this journey just over a year and a half ago. It's been a crazy roller coaster ride. I'd love for you to just say a few words on what was really the point that made you be part of this. And with that, then I'd love for us to welcome Ahmed and talk about him joining us, what we have planned, and then we'll go on to the most interesting part where we all get to learn about frontier technologies.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ihab Al-Samanoudi, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. In healthcare is my passion, and seeing healthcare from a view of the lens of space, and how can we contribute to the world, educating them about space and the impact of space on humankind, on their health, on their environment. How can we change the way we look to each other and to the diseases around the world? And how can we make it better, stronger, and making people live longer with the strength of quality of life? This is what really made me look into this beautiful achievement that Wasim and Tara and Dr. Jim and Ahmed joining, and Aisha and all the team who's supporting with Hilda and all our partners across the world to really amplify the knowledge of space to the rest of the world. It's so beautiful and it's impactful for me. In healthcare, I learned a lot, but with space and healthcare, the implication is just so high. and the finding and the journey is so beautiful, supporting scientists across the world and making them work together to find solution for humankind. It is something that you cannot really have the words for, of enthusiasm and support and positiveness and hope and optimism that bring us together as a humankind. I thank everybody for being with us here, and thank all the team that made this happen, all the achievement happen. We didn't believe that this can happen in this short period of time, but with all this enthusiasm and the finding that we're finding about humankind and the science behind it, it's so beautiful. Thank you very much, and let Ahmed say something about it.
Thank you very much, Ihab. First of all, I would like to say thank you for the team. Thank you for everyone. Join us today. Space, as everyone is aware of it's not a new subject. It's been an old subject, and many things that I've learned came out from the space. Many treatment, many material, many also many solution. People happen to got from the space and the space science. So as a partner, I'm very proud and honored to work with an extraordinary team: Jim, Ihab, Aisha, of course, Wasim, and Dana, who left us just a few minutes. She's enjoying her vacation right now. What I'm trying to say that, I mean, um, once we started Metavisionaries business, the first thing that we've done here in UAE, we signed with the UAE Space Agency. So, which gave us a push forward to keep innovating and working in this field. The space education here in UAE, it's very, it's very. I mean, they are into it right now in schools. So I'm very happy to work with everyone here, and also thank you very much for joining us. I'm looking forward to do more together, inshallah. Thank you so much. Uh,
Thank
Wasim, Dan, Aisha, Jim.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. And yes, it has been a great few weeks and few months. Of course, we worked with the Dubai Air Show, with the UAE Space Agency, and that led to then us working in COP 28. And there are some exciting things that we are going to be looking to announce. And as Ahmed mentioned, there's already such a strong infrastructure in the UAE, where from kids all the way to professionals are looking into that industry, just as we're seeing the same in Saudi Arabia. And of course, we have our Space Innovation Lab there in Kaust, and we're going to be out there in Jeddah in just a few weeks. So exciting time. So thank you so much for all of you to be here, and for us to be able to let some of the audience know what we're planned. So Metavisionaries, we are partnered with Space Application Services, and we build physical space innovation labs that directly connect you to the space station. And then we use our education and programs with partners around the world to really help develop capacity, whilst accelerating not only the learning, but the ability to transform those ideas into specific outcomes, which is why we are now very excited to go on the next part. And really, 2024 for me, everybody's been talking about GPTs, Chat GPT, and Bedrock from Amazon, and Google Bard. But what does it really mean in terms of a daily application tool, not just in a perspective of how you utilize it for emails or what you're going to do with doing your schedules? For me, I'm a big sci-fi fantasy nerd. So for me, it's definitely going to be writing stories about elves and dragons and so on. But other than that, how are we going to utilize it? Now, me and Jim and Aisha, we've been looking at some of these concepts now for over a year. And in fact, we started working on customized GPTs from day one. So what we're going to do is we're just going to give you a tour of what that exactly looks like. And then we're going to give you a live demonstration of how you can apply it to a concept such as spacesuit design. Now, Aisha is one of our creative directors and has been with us from the start in this whole endeavor. So we're going to leave a discussion with Jim and Aisha to talk about spacesuit design and how you utilize not just Chat GPT, but some of the other softwares, and how we learn certain skills from this process, and they then translate to our lives. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. And Jim and Aisha, if I ask you both to unmute so that we can go through this journey together. So, as you can see, this is a typical version of what you see on ChatGPT. And Aisha, you've been using this for a year. First of all, let's talk about the benefits of using this system as it is, and why this was so transformative.
Yeah, so as you mentioned already, like ChatGPT, although it seems like a new concept and many people now they understand what the word is, I think it's something that teaches us that we have to constantly adapt, right? And we've seen how far this technology alone, like ChatGPT, has come. And now today we're not just talking about generating results, but also talking about to an extent where now it's customly designed. It's how a human brain thinks, and that's just the start of potential that we're talking here. And it just not only applies to the text, it applies to the videos, all kinds of content, graphics, art, you name it. I mean, so I think that's where the endless potential exists, and that's what we will try to unpack here today, because in the future it's more about how you connect between different fields rather than discussing just one single element. It's all about the connection. So we would love to like just untangle those bonds and make new ones.
Absolutely. Now, Jim, you did a paper on your role with The Martian, which of course included a whole segment. Well, the whole movie was based on Mark Watney going to Mars, and there was, of course, his new spacesuit part of that. Can you tell us a bit about that? Because what we're going to do now is load a document and show how you create your own custom GPT, and then have some funs with making some designs from having Jim and Aisha give their input and what a spacesuit design should look like.
Well, indeed, Ridley Scott called NASA headquarters and wanted NASA's help in making sure that The Martian had realism in many different aspects. And I was fortunate enough to lead NASA's connection with Ridley Scott. And one of the things that I did when I took his team to the Johnson Space Center is we had an opportunity to go into the suit room. And this is where the Johnson Space Center personnel managed the spacesuits. So we brought out a very large spacesuit that we call an EVA spacesuit, which is an extravehicular activity spacesuit. And it was, the beautiful big white suits you see all the time in all NASA documentaries and now, these suits were designed from an engineering perspective. They were designed to be a mini spacecraft, if you will. They were designed to allow humans to survive in a vacuum, in an extreme temperature regimes. And so it had a complete engineering approach. Now, Art Max, the major set designer, he wanted to be able to have a surface suit. Mark Watney's going to walk on the surface. And as we left the spacesuit group, I told him, please don't use these big EVA suits. I called them the Pillsbury Doughboy suits because that's what they sort of look like. And please think about other types of designs. And currently at the time, David Newman was developing at MIT a variety of spacesuits that were surface suits, things that clung to the body, that did a number of the same things, but in a lower pressure, not a zero pressure, lower pressure environment. And so he took the design that David Newman was doing and the design that we see called EVA and combined them. And he did a really good job. I really enjoyed looking at the movie and the surface suits that were worn by Mark Watney. But that was movie magic. That's not one of those things that NASA's really going to design, but we're going to design something close to that. So how do we bring in not only the engineers, but also the artists? How do we develop a sleek spacesuit that meets all the challenges of a low pressure environment while offering mobility and also really looking cool. Well, this is where AI comes in.
So what we're going to do now is demonstrate. We recently put a video up. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's myself and Jim looking at the cold index and the differentiation between what you would find on a generalized chat GPT as compared to that which had been fed certain input from Jim and making a custom GPT. So we promised to show how we went about doing it. There are multiple YouTube videos out there, but we're just going to give you a demonstration of how and what we're doing. And we're going to focus this session on spacesuit design based on it. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you who want to know about what this whole thing about custom GPT is, so this is a custom GPT. I've asked it about the Martian. It's gone in and given a general variation answer or response on what the film was about. But if you really want to get into a tailor, narrow, focused answer, how do we go to do that? So OpenAI announced in November what we call My GPTs. My GPTs are custom GPTs that allow you to build your own customized version of GPT with inputs from yourself, as well as uploading documents. Now, the great thing about this is, for those of you with a history and mastery of knowledge, you imagine what you can create. So we're going to go into the process. Now, let me tell you, these GPTs, so here are ones created by OpenAI. They're open. To access this Explore button and have access, you do need to have a Plus membership to be able to access this. And once you do, you can go in and start designing your own GPT. And just to let you know, OpenAI is going to have its own store in January, where it'll be launching, where you can make your own GPTs and share them with the public. It's going to be a marketplace, just as if you had an app store. So now we're going to go into a tab, and we're going to demonstrate how we created our own GPT, and then go around and playing around with it, specifically looking at spacesuit design. So we are going to prompt it to say, you are the chief engineer for spacesuit design at, where do we want it to be, Jim?
Well, let's just say at a well-known space agency.
At a well-known space agency, backed by global clothing brands which have a expertise in materials. All right, because we want to bring in brands in the future. You will also utilize knowledge that we will upload to draw upon as we build your knowledge base in this area. Now, don't worry about the spelling. The great thing is, it's going to make your spelling worse, because it can just go through it and not worry about it. Okay, so now it's updating this version of a GPT and this behavior. Now, you can also tell it, for example, how you want it to respond. In the case where we made Jim GPT, we asked it to have the same prose and the same style as Jim, in terms of how it would interact with us. And we were somewhat semi-successful. And as I said, it's a work in progress. So now once it's updated, what we're going to do is go to the configure button, where there are multiple other things that you can do in terms of how you upload the knowledge. Now, Jim, whilst we're doing that, how did you find the answer you received in terms of the comparison between normal GPT on the cold index and what you found with the cold index that was from the GPT that we had developed?
Well, indeed, one of the things that I was fascinated about the GPT capabilities is their accuracy. And as we know, GPT 3 and 4, which is better than 3, has some problems in what we call hallucinating. In other words, they're bound to give you an answer to the best of their ability, even if they have to make it up. A personalized GPT enables one to use your background, your knowledge, feed it in, create a new knowledge database, and then be able to interrogate it and summarize a variety of things that you've written, for example, or have done. And from your knowledge base, know immediately that it is accurate or what's wrong with it. This is incredibly important because you want to be able to interact with it as as another partner on your team, as someone that can generate ideas. But it's really up to you to be able to guide it. It's up to you to be able to move it into an area that then helps you with the next thing you're writing, whether it's a school report or a document that you need that then is accurate. And you need to constantly be on the guard to check it. But the personalized GPT for Jim Green, once we fed it the right information, worked extremely well. The cold index is the confidence of life detection. It's an important new concept in how we look at data coming from a variety of satellites and determine whether we have confidence that we might be detecting life on another planet. And so that's a new concept, a new approach that the normal GPT 3 and 4 just didn't understand. But once you personalize it with the latest information, it did a very good job.
Now, this is important because if you have a look, we've just given it some behavior. Now, automatically, it's already giving you a couple of options. If you were to give this out in the public, you can just click one of these, what materials best suit for spacesuits, for example. And we click it, and there we go. It's going to come up with an answer. Now, the reason why we're discussing this is one of the things that the Metavisionaries will be doing over the coming year is really focusing on capacity building whilst linking what you learn to direct application through these space innovation labs. And we really believe that this technology really will accelerate our ability to come up with new solutions. And therefore, it's important that everybody is utilizing them and consciously making an active mission of yours to influence how this technology is shaped and going forward. Now, here's the question we asked. It's given us a couple of different answers. Jim, how accurate or how would you say these are in terms of as a first draft?
Well, because I'm not intimately involved in spacesuit designs, I would have to take each and every one of these and check it with an expert. But indeed, we have fed it some important information. And so consequently, I think it's once an expert sees these, we can easily be guided by the right answer.
So this is what it's given us. Now, if you go to configure, and Aisha, I'm coming to you next. When you go to configure, first of all, you'll have a name for it. For those of you who want to create your own, you'll have a description. And this is the description we gave. And just for time's sake, we're being very quick in the description. And here are a set of instructions. Now, you can keep updating these instructions even after you've saved the GPT to get different responses. And again, you can decide what kind of custom questions you want it to have on the front screen. But where it gets really interesting is here. We can now upload files. So we are, in fact, going to do that by going into one of our untitled folders here. And this is an article that Jim has just sent me here from the Martian itself. Now you can upload in PDF, you can upload in PowerPoint or Word. So now we've got that there. Now what we're going to do is save it. So for now, we're just going to do it here just so to save time and play around with it. And we're going to ask it specific questions. Jim, there we're ready to go. So what would be the first question you'd want to know based on what you've written in the article before? So what would you like to ask it, Jim, that it's already had from the article you've written?
I would ask it, what was Jim Green's role in the movie The Martian?
All right, Green's role in the movie The Martian, based on data in hand being uploaded. All right, let's have a look. So let's see what it comes with. And then, by the way, from this, you can create your outlines, you can create presentations, which you can then download as PowerPoints ready to go. So let's have a look at some of the answers. Yeah. So Jim, you worked closely with Ridley Scott.
I did.
You provided scientific guidance.
I did.
And you also gave guidance not just for Mars, but the landscape. And also you talked about the protagonist survival strategies. Would you say pretty accurate to what you had?
Yes, very nice. Very nice.
Okay.
You know, this is nothing that you're going to find out on the internet. I did a few interviews, but the concept of enhancing that database enables it to then summarize it very nicely.
So, Aisha, let's go into the creative part of this and what we can do, because we're going to showcase some of the other apps that are out there. Let's ask a question specifically related to a spacesuit designed based on this personalized version of the GPT. So what would you like me to prompt it to do?
Looks like she's having trouble with her microphone.
Okay, so while she's doing that, I'm going to go in and now create a spacesuit design image based on your knowledge and knowledge from uploads you have received. And let's see what it comes up with whilst we wait for Aisha to get back. All right, so now it's going to go and try and generate image. Now, Jim, imagine before you would have to really plan this out, to book a meeting with the whole agency, and which you still may have to do. But at least now you can be part of the creative process when you're explaining what is it exactly you're thinking about or what you want.
Well, indeed, you know, designing spacesuits is a real difficult challenge because it requires the knowledge of the environment you're going to be in and a knowledge of human factors, everything from the way the skin breathes to the way you need to breathe in your heart rate, in the whole variety of exercise, the concept of mobility, you know, these are difficult design decisions. You know, NASA's been struggling with all kinds of things, from where to put the joint to where to actually develop the glove. You know, the first glove they did was blown up like a balloon. The fingers had to go straight, and if you move the fingers, you had to literally move against the suit. They weren't helping you. They were causing more energy to be expended. And that's because even though they were designed for the environment, they weren't designed for working hard in space. So you have to design the suit for the examples that you want, whether it's on the surface of Mars, which has so much low pressure, but not zero pressure, or working in space, or working on the moon, where you have some gravity, but you still don't have any atmospheric pressure. So here we go with some very different gloves. These are sleeker gloves. They're not blown up balloon gloves, as I mentioned. It looks like there's aspects of the mechanical design that enable the fingers to be able to touch. As you can see right now, they've created a glove that has a natural curve associated with it. And this natural curve is so important because it reduces the amount of work that you have to do just to move your fingers. So they've already created a design that works in a much better way than NASA's gloves on the Apollo program. And so this is really exciting new designs that can be accomplished. It's when one wants to design a spacesuit, really the ultimate goal of doing that is to create a mechanical counter pressure, something that works within that environment where there's a variation in pressure from inside the glove to outside. And then the spacesuit has to protect the astronauts against whatever that environment is. To me, new concepts now come to mind. I want to know what a surface suit looks like on an exoplanet. Now, why do we do that? Why would we want to design something on a planet we've never been on? Well, this enables us to explore the variations that we expect from low pressure, like on Mars, to mid pressure or even high pressure. We may be on planets where the atmospheric pressure is greater than the Earth's atmospheric pressure. And so instead of having pressure inside the glove that fights against low pressure, we now have to have pressure inside the glove that fights against high pressure. So these concepts really radically changed the design. Once again, NASA's approach over the decades has been completely engineering. But once we master many of the aspects of the physics of these various environments, we want to think about designs that are more cultural. How do designs that are sleek, that represent different cultures, that are very individualistic? International Space Station flies all different cultures of astronauts, but when they put on a spacesuit, they all look the same. They don't need to. They need to be able to be individualistic and represent their background, their cultures, their interests. This is also a new concept, and Alicia has really pioneered a number of these. So let me turn it over to her.
So Aisha, welcome. We talked about the clunky design that I made. In fact, we had a comment that it looked like the Infinity Gauntlet from Marvel. So let's turn it over to someone who knows what she's doing. Aisha, obviously, this is Mid-Journey. What is the difference between this and something like ChatGPT, and how you're utilizing this? And specifically spacesuit design. You were on a panel recently also with MIT looking at sustainability. So I'll leave it over to you and Jim.
Yeah, thank you so much. And what Jim, you have been discussing about spacesuits, it's absolutely mind blowing, because I think one thing that everyone needs to understand is that although we're having a very space oriented discussion and we're talking about how a spacesuit has evolved over the time, but I think like this discussion actually resonates or should resonate with all kinds of designers, innovators, or just thinkers, for that matter. It doesn't have to be someone coming from a space background necessarily. And I think that's the beauty of it. And recently, one of the projects that I've been working on, and it's super exciting that I had a chance to work on a project that kind of brings together the culture and the functional aspects of spacesuit. Now we all know that obviously NASA and MIT, all of these research departments, that they have their own expertise when it comes to the spacesuit design, and the spacesuit itself has evolved over the ages. Like we used to see that really bulky spacesuit, and now we're talking about compression materials. So it's almost like at the intersection of biotechnology fusing with material engineering. And the kind of spacesuit designs that I've been particularly interested in is one that also looks into the cultural values, our traditions, and taking them into space, along with all the functional aspects that comes with it. So for example, if we talk about, let's say, creating an identity for someone from Saudi Arabia, let's say, right, because they deserve an equal representation, or maybe someone from Dubai. So how does that look like? That's something that that's where AI, custom machine learning, is also one important thing that people don't talk about. So it's not just the AI, it's about custom machine learning and data collection. So the more you have the data of something, the stronger you have a grip of something. And we've already seen the potential of the custom data collection that Wasim just showed us with the custom chat GPT. Now the same level of custom data can also be applied for the images. It's not just the custom bots, and that's exactly what I'll be showing you today, that the better data that you have and the better data you feed into the system. Now whether it's Midjourney is just one of those tools, and we even have now more advanced tools like Runway, Stable Diffusion, and Leonardo. So these are all great tools, and each one of these, by the way, have their own unique points and unique specifications that can be used in certain ways. And obviously we will be dissecting and we will be going more into the details of that with our courses that are coming up next year. But for now, I'll be talking more about the spacesuit itself. So how does the culture bridges with the science of it? And I just quickly highlighted that material science coming together with cultures. Now this topic in itself can be explored from different angles. I recently did project called Terra Suit, and that looks into the suits that are designed for the exoplanets. And it's quite interesting because then those suits that I personally looked into also was talking about the, let's say, material sustainability, radiation resistance, body adaptability, physiology, functionality, temperature regulation is one important thing, okay, and oxygen supply. So all of these things we have to think about when we say there's a spacesuit that will work on exoplanets. It's not just the design part. It's not just okay. It looks something that will grip your body, but there are 100 things that you have to think about. And on top of it, we are also talking about culture. So what you see on the screen is actually the Midjourney software that I just talked about. And here I've just added like Biosuits Ultra HD 64K. You can see it's a very basic prompt, and I wanted to start from here so that the audience or the people for whom like this software is quite new, they understand why this software is being used. And you don't have to think that prompt engineering is something that is that requires an expertise. You can start with a very basic prompt, and in fact that should be your approach, because first you just enter a basic prompt. Now here the prompt itself has two parts. One part is the fact that I wanted a biosuit. Okay, and biosuit is like an advanced form of spacesuits. It's like now we're talking about how a body resists in space, so that's why I wrote biosuit. And then the second part is a technical bit where it says Ultra HD 64K. Now 64K is a resolution. It's the technical bit, like how you want the visual to be constructed. And because I haven't defined whether I want one biosuit or two biosuits, obviously ChatGPT is giving me like multiple suits at this point. And that's like the basic prompt. And then what you see next is the aspect ratio, like double dash a. So these are some of the algorithmic values that one has to know so that you prompt engineer the perfect way. And now the chat GPT can also give you these answers, but the resolution, the aspect ratio, and the version like V5.2. These are some of the basic things that you have to enter correctly in order to have the in order to have the visual that you desire. And then from this point, like you see here, so uh, I'll make like a more expert prompt from this. So I'll say imagine, and here also you have a bunch of options now. So this is the latest version of Midjourney. It's Midjourney version 5.2. So
Aisha,
you can ask, blend,
basically,
and describe.
it's giving you
Yes,
options, right? Previously, you would just have
yes.
to come up with the. So, in fact, here's a question: isn't prompt engineering then just going to get easier and easier as this goes? So then you can get even more creative.
Exactly. It's getting easier because people were actually selling prompts. People were actually trying to create a business out of prompt engineering a past few months ago, and the worlds have changed so quickly that now you can just create your own prompts from custom chat GPTs, and then you can feed those prompts into these systems. Now, then the important question is that how you are actually thinking and curating rather than creating, because the creation part is being done by the machine or AI. So, how do you curate things? I think that's the question that we have to ask ourselves now.
So, Jim, that's a key point, right? In the learning process, where a lot of automation comes from, let's just say building a presentation. What are is the artwork? How are we going to plug that in there. If all that stuff is taken care of, uh, sorry, just repeat that again, Aisha. I want to write that sentence. What did you say? What is the process that you think is going to be more the kinds of transformation from the before and after?
So when we talk about visuals, whether it's for science, whether it's for ideation, whether it's like a final piece of work in a gallery, it's always curated in a certain way. So curation is the word that I used, and according to the latest, you can say, school of thought, because the creation role is now taken by robots, whether it's like the digital art, or even you see like the mechanical robots doing now the paintings and drawings with a pen in its grip, right? So then the question is how we are curating the art. And if I'm getting like 100 artworks in 1 minute, then what am I supposed to do with those 100 images is actually the question. Or how am I feeding the certain data, and what is my data? Data is very important in any way. Like data is superpower for any kind of brand, for any kind of fintech company. And the same goes for the visual artists or the innovators. The better data you have, the more specific the custom results you get. And I think the key to succeeding as an innovator or artist is how thoughtful or how curated your vision is. And then according to that, you take it to the next level, and you create the specific result.
Perfect. All right, let's do this prompt. Let's see what we get.
Okay. So I just added the latest research. Let's add an institution. Maybe we can add MIT. I don't know. So I've just added the same. The rest of it is same, and I've just asked the basic prompt, which is the imagine prompt. We do have more options. When we use this slash, we get this range of options. So we can even ask Chat GPT. By the way, if you Midjourney, if you feed a visual and you ask for help, it can actually help you engineer a prompt. But that's something I usually don't do, because then it kind of misleads you also at certain points. I usually go for imagine or blend. Blend is to blend two images together. If one is of a different style, maybe one is like a painterly image done by some master of the past, and you want to contemporize it, and you have another visual of your portrait, you can actually use blend mode, and it works really good, because see, it says here image 1 and image 2, and you can even add like up to 4 images or 5 images, and then you create the results. But you can ask, you can take help, you can do fast. This is the fast mode, because I have the pro access, so it gives me the fast mode as well. But I think
Okay.
it has the result. Yeah. So see, according to the latest research I just added from the MIT, and now these are the kind of results it's giving me, which is mind blowing, because these are all 3D printed.
So, Jim, for me, what this tells me is all those multiple disciplines are coming together, whether it's 3D printing, whether it's having a creative and a cultural mindset into whatever you're creating. So, really, it's an intersection of multiple worlds, multiple disciplines. You've been at NASA for 42 years before you decided to retire to this crazy startup. And, uh, when you see this, what do you feel in terms of where this can go, considering you even helped build NASA's first internet?
Well, this is really tremendously exciting. The ability to cull through large databases that have been developed carefully over time, that then, from a new perspective, like an artist, that then has a flair, creative flair that engineers or scientists don't typically have. You're right. There's so many now disciplines that come into play that enable us to perform new and creative concepts. Now, we may look at these and say, "Oh, these are incredibly wild because they're, for different planets." But in reality, here on Earth, we have COPD, we have problems with lung disease. We have all kinds of situations where individuals in our own environment are struggling to survive, that need additional help. Well, what kind of help are we talking about? Well, we're really looking at some designs that might actually be marketable here on Earth, because they indeed take into account the human interaction with a new environment. And as humans age, that interaction changes over time. So the ability to help walk because your knees are hurting, you have osteoarthritis or you have other kind of maladies. What are the kinds of things that could help humans here in this environment are the same kind of things that are necessary for humans to walk on an exoplanet with certain characteristics. So we now are blending not only engineering designs, artistic, creative designs into environments that are potentially on exoplanets, but now bring that back home to help humans here on Earth. So I think this cycle of creativity, for which these kind of generative capabilities are an element of, can help us rapidly design things that will work for us today in a practical manner. We just need to release that to the general population that has the ability, that are creative, that can bring in their ideas, that can look at this in new and unique ways. And that's the really exciting thing that we're seeing today. I think we're going to see another rapid evolution in many different areas because of these kind of capabilities.
Well, it's been such a fantastic session. We're coming close to the hour, so I want to wrap this up with some final comments. Have you been a serial entrepreneur all your life? When you make a decision or when you look to get involved with projects, you're seeing this exponential rate of rapid evolvement of technology. What, now that you've seen some of the applications that Aisha has shown us and how Jim has kind of formed how these technologies can be used, I mean, what would your message be for entrepreneurs who are navigating all this? By the way, this has changed in a month and a half and it's going to change again. So how do what would your advice be to those people? How we can't hear you. No, let me mute you and unmute you. No, it's still not. We still can't hear you. Maybe you've got something connected or a microphone or something. Okay, I'm going to let you sort out your mic, Ahmed. I'll come to you and then come back to Ihab. Uh, you've seen this. We were talking about this last week. And
Yeah, this is fascinating. I mean, tell me, Yusuf.
no, I just wanted your thoughts. I mean, you've come from a career background,
I mean,
and now you're in the entrepreneurial world. When you see it and all the changes you've seen in your life, what would you say to young people out there, and even current generation and business owners on what to prepare for?
I always saying this. I mean, there is a very known said by Einstein says that how can we? They asked him once, how can we make our kids scientists? He told them that please make them watch cartoons. Right now, we are living in in fascinating world. I mean, what we are seeing right now. We are not imagining anything anymore. We are saying that it is possible. It is possible to create whatever suits we want. It's possible to live in the space. It is really possible to use space material to live with, not only to live in space. So, this is fascinating. This is wonderful, and it's a game changer for the future business, and I'll be looking forward to see more innovative startups coming up into this field. Thank you.
Thank you, Ihab.
I think now can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic, very good. I think when we started, our objective is to bring as much possible people, around a billion people, into this equation, where people can learn and understand what's happening around them, to change the way they think and how they apply knowledge and how they connect to each other to make better knowledge with the quality of science. If we can do that, the acceleration that will happen in the healthcare, in quality of life, in exponential growth, in creating new things that really contribute to sustainability, to expand our network together, to create the idea of what space can bring to the environment and to the world. That's by itself, I can see the exponential happening, because we are immersive learning program that we created with a multiple university, schools, families, scientists, business people, engineers, and we can see what can be done in a very short period of time. What I learned in a year with all the team here, I didn't learn it for 20 years when I'm studying, working, and doing things. I was doing the same thing all over, just looking at the income, cost, revenue, and what we can do to beat each other. Instead, now I look at the world as a whole, as a humankind, as a Pacific, as a natural environment, as as a place we all have to live in, and how we can support it. And we have to look how to create, to achieve together, not just to beat each other. And that's what I see. If we can change our behavior and work together and support each other, especially we are a startup, and with all of the support we getting from everywhere, from government, from business people, from creative, from science, from university, from students, this is immersive. This is, I couldn't imagine that this can be happening, and it's happening. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ihab. So fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody who joined. Jim, it was a great session. We actually covered a lot more than we thought we would. And Aisha, thank you so much for your great work. Now, the goal for us for this session really was to kind of finish this year with you getting to see what we've been doing, what we are going to be doing. We've talked about some of the things like the Space Innovation Labs. We believe that these partnering with academia, for example, the one we've just built with the University of Oxford's Endomes department, or one we have in KAUST, or others we're going to be building in the UAE. These are great opportunities to connect industry, academia all together at once. The technology is evolving. It's a fact that this will only continue to expand, and we are utilizing it in ways that we think can really benefit the exploration of not just space, but the benefit to the Earth itself. So next year, a lot of our programs are going to be focused on using this technology in our workshops for payload designs, or using this technology in how we teach, as you're seeing on the screen. Imagine we had 30 of these kits for 30 students or graduates to learn to design a craft. This is obviously a 6-year-old trying to design it, and is having a lot of fun. So with that, I want to sign off on 2023. It's been a great year for us with some of the work we're doing. We've brought on a fantastic partner in Ahmed, who is willing to push the boundaries with us and not feel nothing is crazy enough. In fact, we've got people here who are really willing to be even more crazy. So with that, Jim, I'd just like you to sign off. Aisha, final words from you, final words from Jim, and for everybody, goodbye for me.
Well, it's been fantastic here. Well, we've done so many different things that show promise in how we can expand knowledge and how we can bring more people into an environment of becoming more space aware. The concepts of going into space are so exciting, I think, for our for this next generation that are coming along. We want to help them be successful and be creative. And the technologies that we're seeing and have played around with are some of the more the critical ones that will enable that to occur. So once again, tremendous past year, and I'm really looking forward to even doing more this next year.
Okay, Aisha, you get the final word. for a message for 2024.
Yes, I would just like to say on top of what Jim actually said, and I think one thing that's important to keep in mind is that we have to think about things in connection. And although today we discuss primarily on the subject of space, but this doesn't mean that space is in its own bubble. Space is connected to art, space is connected to engineering, engineering is connected to biotechnology, and then biology, and then medicine. It's all a net, and nothing exists in isolation. It's all, when we say knowledge, it exists in a diagonal framework, and it expands horizontally. So keeping that in mind, I think whatever we discussed, it should resonate with everyone, whether you are from any field, whether you're a student or you're an adult. And we are all learning, we are all adapting, right? So I think that's the kind of mindset we want to take in 2024, and just keep on learning. So that's the only way.
All right, with that, we're out. There's my famous thumb from Ihab, which may not be. There we go. Just with that back. There we go. We're doing it. Guys, have a wonderful 23. Look forward to seeing you in 24. Ahmed, unfortunately, you're going to see me very soon, very quickly. So there's no getting away from me. And Jim, I guess we're going to be together again very, very
It's a
quickly.
pleasure. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a
Wish you all
wonderful
Thank you all.
2023.
Thank
Take
you.
care, guys.
have a wonderful year.
Take care.
Full of happiness.
Great session. Great session. Thank you.